Give it up. The Royals are not running to Nashville. I've said it a million times on this show, but I get it when I post something on social media. There are many people who see it who are not tuned in here on a daily basis on 95.7 FM. I would love for them to be here every morning. They can stream us on the KCMO Talk Radio app. You can pull us up on your Alexa or your Google Home every single morning. You can find the podcast after the show and subscribe there on Apple or Spotify.
And they have this thing called a radio.
Yes, they do have one of those as well.
Nowadays.
It is kind of wild, but it does still work, especially when you're in the car. The Royals are not going to Nashville. I know that because I have talked to multiple people who do business in Nashville with the government who have said, you know what, we have extended ourselves enough with this new Tennessee Titans stadium. They have no political capital to try to get a Major League Baseball franchise to that city with major incentives right now. They don't have the appetite for it. So stop being afraid of the Royals if they don't get everything they want from Kansas or Missouri running to Nashville. It's not going to happen. And then this was said yesterday by the commissioner of Major League Baseball. His name is Rob Manfred. And he came out and he said yesterday on WFAN radio, it's a sports radio station in New York City. I used to work there, so I just stumbled upon this clip on social media. He said that they want to expand and they want to realign Major League Baseball to be set up more like other sports where it's east to west and like no American League, National League setup. Since, you know, they all have the DH now anyway, there's really no difference between the leagues. Why do this AL-NL thing? But then when he mentioned expansion to get them to 32 teams, so you could have basically divisions of, you could have 8 different divisions of 4 teams each, which would just make sense mathematically. That is even less reason to believe the Royals can go anywhere. If you're expanding by a couple of teams, then the Royals lose even more leverage. Rob Manfred yesterday, the commissioner of Major League Baseball yesterday, hurt the Royals' chances even further when it comes to leverage of potentially leaving Kansas City.
First of all, I would like to expand. I think 32 would be good for us. And, you know, fundamentally, it's a lot of cities like to have Major League Baseball. When people want your product, you ought to try to, find a way to sell it to them. It's kind of basic, number one. Number two, it does a ton of for us from a format perspective. You would realign. You would do it along geographic lines, which could alleviate a ton of the travel burden that's on players. Remember, we ask our players 162 times in 186 days. So most of the play between 162 and 186 travel, right? I mean, so you can eliminate a lot of that travel and make it less burdensome, which would be a great thing in terms of player health and safety. And if you play geographically, we get in a postseason. You know, we have those 4 window days that I love, right? You get 4 baseball games in a day. It's awesome. But when you think about the fans in the individual markets, you always end up with, because of the way we're set up, you get Boston versus Anaheim in one of the early rounds. So you're either going to be too late for the fans in Boston or too early. So if you realign geographically, you would look more like other sports where you play up east into the World Series and west into the World Series. And that 10 o'clock game on the West Coast that sometimes is a problem for us becomes a primetime game on the West Coast for the two teams that are playing. So there's a lot of advantages to it. I think if you did it, you'd probably be 8-4s, right? Okay. And I think you would try to keep the 2-team cities separate.
That was Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred yesterday, the audio courtesy of WFAN radio in New York City. The fact that he mentioned expansion means that there are potentially 2 cities who will get Major League Baseball who no longer have to worry about stealing the Royals. Not that I ever thought that was likely anyway, but that comment from Rob Manfred yesterday actually hurts the Royals in trying to maybe use another city as leverage against either Kansas or Missouri. Because now you've got 2 cities that may end up with Major League Baseball teams. I mean, he sounded pretty solid to me on wanting to expand, and he explained it very well. He put it out there and he said, listen, it's beneficial to us for a multitude of reasons. If we want to restructure the sport and basically have, let's say, the Cubs and the White Sox no longer AL-NL. Now, it sounds like they would still split them up. They wouldn't put the two Chicago teams in the same division. But you might have now the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Royals, and the Brewers in the same division, which I would love that. That would be fun.
Yeah, you got a great weekend road trip. Your airfare's not much, not really that hard to drive if you really want to have a great time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, could you imagine the Royals and Cardinals now playing 18 times a year instead of like the 6 times they play right now? It'd be fantastic for the fans as well. It just would be great. It'd build up that rivalry even more. So his mindset is in the right place, but it's bad for the Royals. And, some people got on me. Well, they didn't get on me. They just said I was being a little harsh yesterday when I said that, everyone reported that this Clay County Commissioner, Jason Withington, said he was done negotiating with the Royals. And he's entitled to that opinion. He is. But it was reported on local news as if he's Governor Kehoe. And I said on social media, one commissioner with not a lot of juice said he was done, whatever that means. Jason's a nice guy, but he's not pulling the strings on this deal. He's not a power player in this deal. He can say he's done, but it doesn't really mean anything. The Royals are not done in North Kansas City. They still have options on both sides of state line if they want.